Hey everyone, hi, how are you doing? Hope you had a wonderful day and everything is going fine for you, I hope. And I just wanted to jump in and put out one more video before the weekend because it turns out that Loom, which I'm using to shoot all these videos, is going to have a scheduled maintenance period. So they have updated proactively to their customers saying that they're going to be down for around 5 hours. So I wanted to make sure that I get a chance to talk to you and share what I have been doing today before this happens, which is in a couple of days. So I didn't want to rely on luck for being able to shoot the next video about what I've been working on since our last interaction. So this is quite amazing, actually, the fact that Loom is able to inform their customers proactively that, hey, we're going to do some maintenance, we're going to upgrade our systems, and we're going to make sure that everything is fine for the next spurt of growth. So this is something that I have been working on in the past in my own individual capacity as an engineer. And it's glad to see that companies are becoming more proactive and more ahead of time in terms of outages rather than reactive. So they're using this tool called statuspage.io, which is a tool from Atlassian, I believe, for this particular web page. So if you're a software engineer or if you're interested in software and you want to provide a status update to your customers about whether you're online or you're doing maintenance work or if you're doing something else with like that, for example, a feature rollout, you might want to inform your customers that, hey, we'll be doing this A/B testing and we'll be doing a bunch of, tests with regard to the features itself using feature flags or one of those other frameworks that you have. So you can always proactively communicate to your customers. So a lot of companies don't usually have this. So it would be great to actually see even Linux distributions like Ubuntu, SUSE, and Fedora all put up their statuses as well with regard to package compatibility and a lot of reasons. I really like actually, I know this is a segue, we have kind of gone in a different direction from what I actually plan to show you here, but it looks like Salesforce actually has an amazing status page. So you should actually definitely check this out because it shows you how sophisticated it might get. And the fact that we depend upon Linux distributions like Ubuntu, Fedora, and SUSE without having the ability to see at a package level what's going on with the stability in one page makes it kind of like really hard. So I'm just waiting for this page to load. It's actually like really popular in the DevOps or a site reliability engineering community, this particular page, because it's quite sophisticated. So they have ongoing incidents and they actually have like data centers all over the world. So you can see even at the instance level, what's going on and which patch of the OS or their distribution or their code is running and which region it's located in. And you can have staggered maintenance windows in different countries and geographies. So this is amazing. And it would be awesome to have the same for Ubuntu and SUSE and many other Linux distros, which I depend upon. So having said that, that's actually the purpose of this channel. I just want to let out a lot of my feelings and thoughts about the software that I use and the way I use them so that I can get feedback from all of you in terms of if I'm doing something right, then encourage me. If I'm doing something wrong, then, help me out. So I'm trying to be a little bit more proactive on that rather than wait for issues to come up because I did not know about a certain feature or I did not know about a certain configuration in a software. So this channel exists to kind of spread the word on a lot of good things out there. So since I saw Loom was doing this amazing thing right when I was logging into the video recording session, I wanted to make sure that I can kind of like uh, put a thumbs up for them, and also let you all know what this is, in case you haven't seen this before. So what I actually wanted to talk to you about in this video was, I've been thinking about the length of some of the couple of previous videos that I put out, and they're quite long. I want to do something which is more frequent and also self-contained within each episode. And I would also prefer if, I was able to give you a lot to take away from. Like if you spend 5 minutes of your day with me online via YouTube, I would like you to have a lot of, fun boost in your work. So I actually wrote down some, my thoughts on how to do that and what should be the format of those videos. So I wanted to share that with you today, actually. So right just before I do that, I want to make sure that I explain why I'm doing this, because I want you all to know that this is how my process is for evolving this YouTube channel. And if you have any feedback, in how I'm doing things in, putting videos out, maybe I should do editing, or maybe I should do, I should have a keyframe moment, or I should, even something as simple as I should put some emoji or face mask or something like that. Please let me know. But yeah, so right now it seems like, let's call this idea as a fun booster. So I'm going to make like 5-minute fun boosters for you that you can watch when you're at work. And I'm going to do it in a way with a process that is kind of transparent. So I'm going to like explain it to you. I'm going to put it out there. And this video is essentially me explaining to you what I think is my current process for this, what I'm contemplating. And I'll incorporate your feedback right from day zero, like right from the time we put out the first fun booster video. Then we're going to make sure that that's kind of something that you would all like. So let me just show you what I've done. So I love Notion. I really love Notion. So I found out that like you can actually automate the sidebar in and out. So it's kind of like really fun. So I changed that today. And I wrote down what are my prep notes, for the format of fun boosters. So a fun booster is something that I think I want to be able to offer you 5 fun boosters. They might be productivity techniques. They might be new software or tools that you might want to use. They might be any kind of like, composition of softwares that you use to accomplish a work goal. But I would like to do that like quite frequently and in as less time as possible every time we share this kind of a format. So I wanted to make sure that before, like there are 3 main things that I thought about that would enable us to have a higher impact per minute in terms of the YouTube video. So one is the persona. So if I'm going to put out a fun booster, I'm going to make sure that all the 5 fun boosters within that one video are going to be relevant for at least one target persona. So what I mean by that is you might be somebody who's working professionally as a video editor. You might be the expert of Adobe Premiere Pro. But when I do put out the fun booster for, let's say, video editing or even uploading to YouTube, which I am doing for the first time in my life at this kind of scale, it's definitely not going to be, the same as like an expert saying what they think is like the best way or the productivity hacks or, what makes the work more fun while working with Adobe Premiere or Photoshop or something like that. But I'll do my best to give you what my perspective is. And so I'll have to be a little bit very selective. So I'm starting out with I'm a beginner myself. So I'm going to start out with people who are like me, people who are, aware, who have tried out a bunch of the tools and softwares, who have been exposed to computers for a while, but not really to the extent that they can go and, find like 5 cool things about how to improve their workflow every day, every week. So that's going to be a little bit challenging. So that's where I think I can hop in, and hopefully if something in this is useful for you, then in the long term or the medium term, I would love for you to like this video and subscribe to the channel. But yeah, so that's basically the essence. And I really think that there are 3 main things that I'm going to focus on for the fun boosters. One is the persona. I'm going to choose only one target persona per video. It might be very specific. It might be someone who's at a different skill level than you are. So please don't mind if the video turns out to be a bit too easy or a bit too tough for your liking. I'll improve with your feedback. The second thing is the format. So I'm going to spend just 45 seconds for each of the fun boosters in each video, reading out the context in which it is useful, and describing how, or showing you, and I'm actually going to show you how that particular fun booster is really going to make sense and be of help. So I'll do like 5 fun boosters in every video, every day, or at least once in 2 days. Let's see the frequency based on like the demand and whether I'm upskilling myself fast enough or not. So we're going to have a video of approximately 5 to 7 minutes at the end, and that's what I hope will be useful for you to gain a lot every day by just following the channel, subscribing to the channel. The one thing I realized is having constraints is really good for making YouTube videos, because the time of your audience is really precious. And the moment I was able to see actually in the YouTube analytics that they actually show how many hours your audience is watching your content. So the moment it starts like going up, I noticed that like I might not be the wisest person if I was trying to just grab a lot of your time share with no value. So I want to make sure that whatever I produce is going to be, or put out there on YouTube through this format, is going to be, especially the fun booster format, that's what I'm talking about, is going to be meaningful to you. So the constraints that I'm kind of imposing on this are that once the fun boosters are decided, that these are the 5 that I'm going to do for the first fun booster video, then these are the 5 fun booster hacks that I'm going to show you in the first fun booster video. Then there's going to be a real-time shoot of that, in no cuts in the editing, and there's only going to be making sense to one kind of target persona. So it might leave out some of the people who are either more experienced or less experienced than me, or it might leave out somebody who is looking for something to do with that software, but not in a compositional format. They might be looking for something very, very specific that is best found within the software's help manual. So I'm not going to do anything related to like what might be best answered within the help manual of another software. So I think this is what I was thinking about. So I made this in Notion actually. And as you can see, this is an amazing way that Notion offers you to think. It constrains your thinking, and using better software like Notion helps me come up with like, more innovative ways of trying things out and experimenting on a daily basis. I don't think I was doing that a lot earlier when I was working as an engineer, but right now I think it's kind of taken me in a different direction by thinking about all these factors before I shoot a video. So I actually wrote this down for an example. So I duplicated the file with Notion, and then I wrote down what an episode of Fun Boosters would be like for a YouTube beginner. So 5 Fun Boosters in 5 minutes on yet another channel. Persona. 1 target persona per video. For example, it could be a person who's just uploaded their first couple of videos to YouTube and are looking to organize their workflow. So I've uploaded like a couple of videos till now in YouTube, and I'm looking to organize my workflow. So this episode of Fun Boosters and 5 Fun Boosters in 5 minutes is going to target this kind of person. So this is a very important concept because in a lot of times when you build software, you need to know who you are talking to. Your software is talking on your behalf, but who is it talking to? Is it talking to somebody who is of this skill level, certain level of experience, has used these other softwares in the past, like they might have familiarity with XYZ software, therefore they're a good persona for your tool or your video. So this kind of an aspect of focusing on a persona is essential, and I'll kind of let you know in the video itself who the persona is. So right now it says YouTube beginner, so I'm thinking about someone who might be like myself but who chose not to upload the video. So if they chose not to upload the video, then I would like to put this out so that they can feel like they can do it, and they can get all the support that they want from the community here, and hopefully this video will help them understand how they can get started without a lot of clutter. So the format part is basically like what we discussed. I'm going to set the context for 5 fun boosters, and then I'm going to expand upon them and show you exactly how those fun boosters can be put to use. So you might have heard of Windows Power Toys and some of these tools, right? So it's not exactly the same, but it's like I'm trying to show you a compositional workflow that might be of use to you. So if there's something that I've learned today by trying out Notion, for example, I would like to share that with you. And not the whole work, not the whole piece of work, but at least whatever little bit is of use to other people. So I think here you could be learning how to organize your YouTube script, in Notion, for example. And that's what we are doing here. We're organizing our entire YouTube script for a certain series of videos focusing on, showing people what are the fun boosting activities that they can do in their workflow to increase their productivity and also the joy of using computers. So I thought about a few options here. So I made a Google form today actually for some of my internal usage, and it turns out that you can do a lot with a Google form actually. So a lot of you would have seen Google Forms, but I needed a way to organize some of the tasks that I was getting reminded about every day as I was trying to work on the channel. So I set up something here which actually allows me to upload a video online by just pointing to the Google Drive link instead of going through the whole mechanical process of clicking through and uploading and transcoding the video in a very serial fashion. So I just made this form. I want to verify that whichever phone I'm using, it's the same phone from which my video is going to get uploaded from, and then the final upload candidate is going to be very, very specifically a Google Drive link, and I want to rate my own satisfaction with the video that I've made. So because when you actually make the YouTube video for the first time, it kind of feels like really awesome, but if I don't ask this question to myself, I won't know exactly whether I enjoyed it, doing it as much, or was there something I could have done better to prepare for that moment so that I could have, had a better, conviction within myself that, yeah, this is the most amazing video I could have ever made for this topic. So that the demand for that benchmark is why I'm asking this question to myself, and in a more formal way. And I'm actually going to share this maybe hopefully at some time with you later in the future for the videos that I've already put out. So, and also I've added a couple of items to the form wherein I'm just recording the title and the description for the YouTube video. So now that I have this, so one of the fun boosters So you can see that it's like starting out simple with the Google form. I wanted to show you that. And picking title and highlight frames and automating the Final Cut video candidate with standardized metadata by managing the upload Zap with Google Forms. Just a minute, guys. There's someone here. It's my brother. Yeah, so this is, yeah, I'm actually quite hungry. Actually, I'll kind of like probably tune out in a little while. But essentially, this fun booster list is basically something that I was planning to showcase in every video. And yeah, so some of this needs some prep time. So I was thinking that, okay, I'll actually spend some time to figure out how to get analytics and feedback, because I think it's a little hard for me to actually understand the audience or build out an audience without knowing exactly for whom I want to customize the videos for. So this is one of the reasons why I was thinking I'll initially put like a survey or something, or a type form or a Google form at the bottom of the in the bottom of the description, but I wasn't sure exactly how that would potentially relate to, you know, the kind of data or the feedback that, say, just a plugin might give you, like say Mixpanel. So I don't think I can embed my own Mixpanel, you know, kind of like, I would say, API key onto the YouTube page, but I can't set up the queries and stuff on my own. So like I'll have to wait for YouTube to update stuff and see data from there. So if you look at YouTube, right? If you look at YouTube, so you can actually see some of the data here, but it's like, I know this is very early, but like it's kind of helpful to know exactly how I could potentially, you know, accomplish this task. So this is something that I am looking for. I need some help on. So this is something that I'm not sure. I have some rough ideas, but there were 4 other things that I thought were meaningful enough to share with you. So there's a Clubhouse Zap that I built today that kind of was really amazing and helpful. So let's see. So Zapier is a tool that basically allows you to make zaps. So zaps are things that like are event streams triggered actions. So assume there's an event stream through your work. So if there is a video submission, if there's this form that is being submitted on this sheet, like as you see, I have submitted my request to myself saying that, hey, I want to upload this video to yet another channel, and this particular form is then automatically processed through Zapier, and Zapier is going to automatically sync the response in the Google form with Clubhouse, which is where I manage the entire work that I do, not just the channel, but like everything else. So I thought this is like quite amazing because it allows me to automate a lot of things like transcoding, downloading, and transcoding, downloading, and uploading the video to YouTube, making sure that the video has the right metadata, including the description and the, you know, the title and all the links that I want to do, make sure that they are in the description. They have to be there. So there's a lot of this other stuff that I need to run through, and Zapier and Clubhouse allow me to manage that. So if I go to Clubhouse, so this was something that I actually automated it today from Zapier, and it's part of this Epic. So Clubhouse has like this set of like hierarchy of stories. So Epic is like a major story, or it's like a longer story. It depends on how you see it. It depends on the impulse of that particular epic. Is it like an impulse moment, or is it like a very, very long epic, but like steady? So put 12 hours of solid content out, and then this entire, I only made the epic here, but the daily activity is automated. The daily activity is kind of coming in through Loom, which shoots the video, and it goes through this form. It goes through this form where like I submit that, okay, this is something that I think we can upload to YouTube. And once the form is processed, which I can put up like 5 minutes in a day or something to just check if like to do a sanity check, that to make sure that it's okay. Then once that happens, you can actually automatically verify who submitted it. It could be me from one phone. It could be one of my family members. It could be somebody else who's come up with an innovative software, and they want to share how their software works. So I think it's useful for them also, right? Because when I was starting out as an entrepreneur, it was like there was Product Hunt where we could pitch the startup product that we had built, or we could go for something which was like a longer, steadier pace, which is like incrementally, customer by customer, city by city, and so on. I'm talking about online targeting or marketing. So it's kind of helpful to have this because anybody anywhere can send out a software that they make and share a video, and I can incorporate that into the YouTube video that I'm putting out on yet another channel. So it's going to be useful for a lot of people to get the word out. So I can automate those checks, whether this is spam or not, by checking up on a few metadata points, which I can just ask, nicely and politely here, including to myself, just to make sure that this upload is going to be a useful upload. So, of course, this is the Salesforce status page. This was amazing, but let's close this for now. So let's close the analytics as well, because it's too early to look at analytics, but it's useful to be inspired. So let's look at Zapier and just see how this works. So you can actually share this Zap with different people. So anyone with the link can copy this Zap. So feel free to copy the Zap. But it allows you to choose an app and event, Google form, new response and spreadsheet, which is this sheet specifically, only this sheet, and choose account, set up trigger. It's kind of self-explanatory, and then you can test the trigger. So it's saying that it's already found a valid response, which is the one that we are seeing in the sheet. And every time this happens, so this is a kind of a if this then that kind of a visual way to write programs on software. So it's not different from programming. It's actually the same, except that it's in a GUI. So the action is to open a new story in Clubhouse. And this is my account there. I like the Nautilus Prime. I love Ubuntu, so I think I love their file manager. So I think it's so I named it after Nautilus from Genome. I don't know how to pronounce it, but because I've never really had a lot of friends who were able to pronounce it as well. So, I mean, I had a lot of friends who were able to pronounce gnome as gnome, but I don't know if that is the correct pronunciation. So, if there's anybody affiliated with gnome, then like please, uh, please show me some kindness. So, set up action. So yeah, so this is where all the magic happens, and I've picked like different parts of that of this sheet. So you remember that we saw the title and the description. So that's gone here into the sheet in this particular cell, and you can actually, Zapier can automatically pick that up, and you can select that particular cell and send it to a certain epic that's inside of Clubhouse. So this is quite amazing, and you can actually refresh the fields if you want. Just check if all the values are still the same or the sheet has changed since we last saw it. So test action. So yeah, so this is where you can test it. You can test it again, and yeah, let's see. A story was just sent to Clubhouse. So something was sent. Oh yeah, so it's made another ticket. Okay. So obviously there's one issue here, which is that when we incrementally test stuff like this with the zaps, we are not overwriting data. So that's a very good actually programming capability. You never want to overwrite data unless you really feel like that data is like worth overwriting. But even then, you don't want to do it generally. So what it has done, what Clubhouse and Zapier and Google Sheets have together done in this last 2 minutes is that they have agreed upon, they have reached consensus that there will be no overwriting of when there's an event passing through them. So they basically have written 20. So they've created a different ticket or like, I don't know exactly what Clubhouse calls these. Oh yeah, so I think we can use the word story for this, but I think they are definitely are really, really smart that all three of them agreed upon one thing, which is that we won't overwrite data. So that's good. So we have two of them now, and we can just delete the other one, or we can just close the ticket. So since this second one was a test, let me just like close this out, and we'll do that a little later if possible. So yeah, so even they don't allow you to delete everything. That's kind of important actually. So yeah, Loom reviewed on Loom. So this was the first video that we put out. So if you remember, so that was fun. Yeah, so that's mostly it actually for today. I wanted to show you that I'm working on this, and that this is just an example kind of a video where I'm testing this out. But yeah, this is mostly it for now, So okay then, I hope you liked it. I hope you're getting a sense of like what reviews without having just one product feel like. What reviews, because in your real life you actually have like multiple software, right? You don't work with like just one software. In fact, there is no one software. There is like there are many kinds of like workflows that you have, and you use what is necessary, and you appreciate the feedback that sometimes you get in your work. Sometimes somebody would have found an easier way to do things, and maybe they were watching yet another channel, so they found an easier way to do things, and they were able to finish up the work earlier or finish up the work much more effectively. So that's kind of what we're talking about, and hopefully all of you can see the value of that. It's not about spending less time. I don't expect that watching this channel should just help you, save the same amount of time at your work. I hope there's an exponential benefit for you. I hope there is a benefit that you can use your time during this lockdown to take a step back, just like how I have had to take a step back, and look at like your process. Look at your process. Look at every single aspect of what you're doing, and just think, what will help you accomplish the goal better, faster, easier, and in a more fun way, and so that every other person around you, every other person who's working with you on that problem or the project or the startup, they can all enjoy the process and they can all have fun. So that's kind of not been my primary focus, because you're stuck with this day-to-day job and you're always thinking about what do you need to get done for the day. But now it's about what is the definition of done. So now we're thinking about what are we trying to define as done. So when you think about it in that manner, you come up with this kind of very, very specific checklists almost, and we'll kind of use more of these checklists as we go along to really build yet another channel into an amazing, wonderful, story. So I hope it'll be a wonderful story, and I hope you all enjoy it. And I hope you all can see that I am making some progress here with regard to improving your experience on the channel. So I'm trying to do this so that you have the maximum possible takeaways. Like today, I hope you found out about Clubhouse. I hope you found out about how to use Google Forms to do something like really, really simple, but kind of explains and decomposes your entire work into so many different processes. So it's kind of really, really useful. So I think you should definitely do this as we go along. Okay. Thank you so much. Bye.